On this episode of Greiner's In Practice podcast series, we are talking to Josh Helgeson about labor shortage. Hey, Josh.
Hi, Heather.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So happy you're joining us today.
Well, I'm happy to join you.
So, Josh, first off, what is your title here at Greiner?
I'm a principal slash field operations manager. So I oversee the field, and that consists of now, it's ever growing. We're at about 55 guys and gals out in the field now. So probably up about 15-20% than we were a year ago at this time. So
that's crazy.
That's awesome, yeah.
And how's your role evolved? What did you start out at Greiner?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Have you had every title in the field?
Yeah, pretty much over the last 20 plus years. I started off as an apprentice carpenter. Don't know really how I got into this industry other than my wife kind of gave me this opportunity with Greiner way back when. As an apprentice, I was looking for work. I remember sitting on the couch watching the trade centers go down and getting the phone call that there was a spot available for me if I wanted it as a carpenter. So I came in about a week after the trade center ordeal happened, talked to Dirk Hansen and Kevin Vader at the time. They said, yep, being young and dumb that I was, yep, we'll try you out. So they
no carpentry experience, no.
A little bit. I grew up in the carpentry world, the construction field. My dad, with my dad's hands-on stuff, I grew up in it, but had no idea that this is what I wanted to do. I went to college for a little bit, decided that schooling wasn't for me. So I in and out of school for about 4 years, and finally decided that I had to do something with my life and needed a job, and that's how I got into the apprenticeship program and worked my way up from there. From being an apprentice carpenter to the foreman level, all the way superintendent to now one of the 5 owners here at Greiner.
Awesome. And so part of your role at one point really was managing field operations and staff. So scheduling and
yeah, that for us, that's as a carpenter at Greiner, you're doing that anyway. You're helping manage that piece. So that kind of morphed into, yeah, I can do this. What's the next step? And those opportunities were basically there. There was no playbook for me. It was just an opportunity that, yeah, I can do that. So I went for it. And then those next opportunities came and went to get it. And, it just kind of evolved from there. So,
yeah,
I don't know, short.
No, and the reason I ask that is because we're coming to a point where we're talking about labor shortage and what that looks like. So from my side, when I'm talking to clients or when I'm wearing a project management hat, I see higher fees, I guess, or higher costs for carpenters, and then also scheduling delays because of because I hear about labor shortage. Yeah. So that's the chatter in the industry. But what does that really look like for you in the field?
Well, it's there. Us at Greiner, we're not experiencing that labor shortage, I would say. Maybe put that in quotes, labor shortage.
Well, I guess actually, internally with the carpenters.
Yeah, internally, we're actually, right now, it's really good for us. Meaning that we're having people come in and seeking us out and looking for work. I know in the field, as far as trades go, there is a shortage. There's not enough workers out there, let alone probably enough work to keep them busy. Thus is the reason why they're seeking out new opportunities elsewhere, or opportunities that they can't be given at their companies now. And I'd like to think Greiner, is being the general contractor that they are. There's endless opportunities here for people. So it's actually working out in our favor.
Yeah.
But as far as the field goes, yeah, we're experiencing that. And how we're dealing with that is, obviously we're being upfront with our clients and making them aware of this, not only of the labor, but materials, which is another thing with labor, how the materials are made and so forth. But we're putting that into our schedules. We're putting that out on the table to begin with. So we're able to deal with that. And then the other thing is too, we have these relationships with all these trade partners that we've had for 30 plus years. So we're able to rely on them to help us out when we're in a pinch. If we have another contractor of some sort that doesn't have enough guys to help out, we can call someone up to help us. And that's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you mentioned, being able to obtain some new talent. And I love it. Guys in the field, I don't think people realize this, but guys and gals in the field, they talk and they know the GCs that have the work, and they hear about culture, and they gossip. So it sounds like they're hearing oh, Greiner has some work coming up, or this GC has some work coming up. So they will they're willing to make the switch because they know that there
Yeah.
could be
It's
opportunities.
Not, yeah, I don't know if that it's just work. It's, we've always said that if that right person comes along, we're going to find a spot for them. And that's kind of what we've done. We're not necessarily in a hiring frenzy, nor do we necessarily need the people. But there's some really good talent out there that we don't want to slip by us and not grab onto them. So that's what we're doing, which is only going to help us in the long term because it's going to help us get work. Our efficiencies are going to get up or pick up in the field more than they already are. Same goes for the office side of things. The talent level is just escalated a little more just because people are out there looking.
Yeah. Then I'm curious to know, what's the age range of people that are coming to us or that you're hiring on? Does it vary? Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's totally varying. I mean, there's brand new apprentices. There's apprentices that have a year or two of experience, and then there's guys and gals that are on the verge of retirement. I just had one the other day. He just come in and I talked to him. He's going to retire in March. Maybe not interested in something like that, but we're looking for a long-term partner to be on board. I mean, we invest a lot of time into training our folks and getting them up to speed with the Greiner way and processes and how we do things. So a 5-month stint really is not going to help us out. Even though they might be a great person and they might do great work, it's just that's probably not what we're looking for. But
well, that's what I was curious to know. Okay, so if we're going through this labor shortage, are they incentivized if they're close to nearing retirement in the union? Does it make sense to stay on a little bit longer, or are they like, I'm done, get me out of here? What's the attitude of that
you
person?
have it
That's
all.
okay.
You have all the attitudes. I mean, there's some that are I'm done. I'm done dealing with all of the things that I have to deal with. I'm done with it. I'm moving on. I'm retiring. I'm going to enjoy life. And then there's others that we have in particular that we keep giving new opportunities to, right? Maybe it's not just superintendent work. It's superintendent work plus mentoring somebody, getting out there and getting to know some of our younger guys and gals and helping them through those processes and teaching them of what they learned over the years. It's just a new opportunity for them to help us grow, helps them grow. It's a little more exciting for them than running work day to day. It's just, we're trying to adapt and trying to figure out those different ways where we can get some more excitement behind the business, right? So I know we struggled with it in the past, and my head's constantly turning. Those are the things that I think about coming into work every day. It's like, how are we going to make this day better? How are we going to make Greiner better as a whole? And these things just pop in. Oh, let's try this today. Let's give this guy an opportunity to go do this.
And it's working.
It's working. I think it's working. I really do. Yeah.
You could tell there's some excitement. Jake's energy, it's like he wants to be here. He can tell he's a part of something bigger. And I have to say that that's probably because of mentors or people above him helping guide him and direct him, and people like you.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the union. Okay, so Greiner is signatory to the Carpenters Union. What does that mean? And I know it's easy for you, but not everyone knows what that means. So
signatory means that we've signed an agreement with the union that we would hire carpenters that are strictly union guys, right? In the benefit of that is I think that talent pool is a little escalated versus the non-union. We know that they're going through, or they have gone through schooling at the union hall that. Yes, it teaches you some things, but yes, you do learn more out in the field, but at least gives you a sense of what to expect, right? It helps that we know they're being trained by good people, and a lot of those folks that are down there have been sitting in our shoes and have been in the field and have done this before, so there's that piece that they're not going to get with non-union, not being signatory to that, and it helps us with, I don't know, I think the talent pool and as far as subcontractors and trade partners go, it just escalates that, right? It's better.
Yeah, consistent, better.
Yeah. And why are we signatory? I don't know. I mean, I think it's that big reason, we know what we're going to get when we hire a union contractor versus non-union.
Fair enough. How are we opening up doors for more diverse labor force?
Well,
I know it's tough.
that's a huge thing, right? So, you know, the era that we live in now, there's people that are separating themselves and making these companies the way they are today, right? So we're definitely going down that avenue, and we have been. We're constantly looking at different ways to diversify. You know, if it's using our social media platforms, you know, more of those social media platforms versus one or two things. We're getting out to the schools, the colleges. We're finding talent there. We're relying on some of the headhunters that are constantly calling everybody, and I know everybody gets called. But there's some good
But actually
talent.
picking up the phone and
Yeah,
listening.
people are actually picking up the phone and talking to these people, and really some good talent's coming that way too.
Yeah.
Just because you or I may not know of an opportunity that's out there, and this headhunter does, and oh wow, let's take a look at it. And we've been finding some people that way, but diversifying is huge. You know, even with you know, possibly, you know, looking at, you know, more of the women's side of things. We want to empower the women, and we want to get more of that in house and kind of do more of that. So maybe it's partnering with someone like that's a women-owned business where we can do some projects together.
Yeah, and we're currently working on that too with a partner, and I hope to see that work and grow. But I think it's there again. You know, talking in the previous podcast about that. Just the stigma behind what carpentry or what construction looks like, and I think it can be intimidating to women, and I think somehow we just have to change our culture or help make it more inviting, and maybe I think education, right? Educating about the opportunities that can be had, and what it really does look like to work in the field. Yeah,
and we just have to have, you know, we have to go in with open arms. We have to. And we have changed maybe the mindset of the field, that we have to, you know, have our arms open where we can accept women into this. We can train them. We can help them get to the levels that the guys were at before too. I mean, and we see that women are taking over those positions, and which is really exciting. There's some great women out there that are getting into this, and I see more and more of it happening. So yeah, we're definitely trying to encourage that.
I love that. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the different generations across the board of labor. So I kind of feel like there was maybe there's an old school mentality of like working as a soup, and then you're kind of rough and gruff, and you would yell and scream in order to get things done. How is that changing? How's that culture changing in the field? Is there some of that left?
It's still there. There's some of that there, but I think you hear about it when it does happen now. Before, you never used to. We used to get yelled at and screamed at, and we put our tail between our legs and do better the next time. Because if you didn't, you know it was going to happen, right? We have to tread a little lightly now with that. You know, there's I don't know, you know, offensive things that you say. There's people take things the wrong way, even though you might not mean it that way. We got to tread lightly in those situations, but. Yeah, it's very challenging. It's a day-to-day thing that we deal with, and we're dealing with it across the board. It's just how we handle situations, you know. So can't get ourselves in trouble.
I'm assuming though that mentality or that way of thinking or way of working, does it work still, or that to be? Yeah.
No, we can't yell and scream anymore. I mean, we can sit and have those difficult conversations, but communication, those lines have to be opened up more so than they were in the past. You know, it's okay to call someone out if they're doing something wrong, but teach them how to do it the right way. Don't just say you're doing it wrong and they can do it better. Teach them how to do it. So that's part of that mentoring piece that we're trying to help with as well. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's very hard.
I can imagine. And how are some of the older generations of workers? Are they receptive to the newbies? Are they?
Yes, they get frustrated at times. Okay. But I think they're receptive. I think they can tell pretty much right away if they're going to be received well or not. If someone is going to listen, for one. Yeah, if they got potential. We can weed that out pretty quickly, I think. You know, we can't have someone that's sitting on their phone texting and doing their stuff all day long. It's just, you know, we put that away. We're here to work. So those are signs that we can throw our red flags up when we need to and make changes as necessary. But yeah,
start the conversation. Am I missing anything about labor shortage, or is there anything else you want to add?
Not as far as labor shortage, I don't think.
Okay. We talked a lot about labor shortage just in the carpentry side. Do you have any comments about, and it sounds like you have it under control internally with us, and if we are short on labor to staff our jobs, and it sounds like we can easily contract other companies to help us.
Yep.
Now, what about those trades that, the electricians, the painters, the sheetrockers? What are we seeing for them as far as labor shortage? Are they feeling the same things we are, worse?
Yeah, they're sensing the same stuff. Again, there's different roles for some of those guys out there too that are say an electrician. There's new opportunities for them there isn't electrical work to be done, there's other things for them to do. So I see our trade partners opening up some of those doors too, which is kind of cool to see versus you're going to go sit home for a week or you're going to go on the bench or whatever it is. But I think they're trying to adapt to try to keep good talent and keep their core of people around. In the past, that wouldn't happen just because of the labor shortage, right? I mean, how I let go of this guy, he's going to go maybe find some work somewhere else, and I'm not going to get him back. So I'm going to figure out a situation where I can have so and so go do this for the week, go help deliver product, or I don't know. But that's what we're kind of seeing. But it's definitely like pulling teeth out there to get people to show up.
Yeah, fair enough. And why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, obviously COVID has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
It wasn't like that 2 years ago. But
okay, you bring up a really good point. So, because I had on my notes here, vaccine mandates.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know. I know that's causing some problems with getting the right with staffing jobs, depending on what their mandates are. How what's the latest?
Well, it changes every day. There are certain clients that are requesting full vaccination, plain and simple. I mean, there are exceptions to the rules, but those exceptions necessarily don't apply to certain environments. So we're having to staff those with what they're requesting, which has been a challenge because, people are on one side or the other, and maybe some in the middle. We can't force it. We can't. Everybody's entitled to what they want to do. So we're adapting. We're getting around it, and we're staffing those as we can for now. Hopefully this stuff gets behind us and we can keep moving forward. But if it starts coming in closer and closer on more mandates, then we're definitely going to have an issue, and it's not just going to be us.
Yeah. I hope it changes soon too, Josh, for all of our sake. Well, so I know, so we're hiring people on to be carpenters, and we've got some good talent.
Yep.
We have jobs are fluctuating, they ebb and flow. Are the expectations that a carpenter has to maybe wear a few hats and not only might be doing carpentry, but have to do some labor, some cleanup, some...
Yeah, I think we could do a better job at setting those expectations of that, because we throw guys into it, whether they like it or not. But I hope that they speak up if they're not comfortable doing that. But everybody seems to be just taking it and running with it, and it seems to be working, and that's the way it always has been, and it's always worked.
I'm sure some are more receptive to it than others. I get it. You're paid to do a job as a carpenter.
Yeah, you're hired on as a carpenter, right?
Pushing a broom.
And then I'm not doing carpentry work. I'm calling that sub for you, or I'm making sure that sub shows up, or I'm cleaning up that mess, or I don't know. That's one of our uniquenesses, right? At Greiner, we offer that, and that's how we can run the work that we do run. If we didn't have carpenters to help us do that, we couldn't do it.
What's the funnest part of your job?
The funnest? Oh my gosh.
I know. Sorry.
I don't know. I go back to always the people. That's the biggest thing of me. I mean, we have a great group of people here, and that's what makes me, and that's how I enjoy coming to work every day. If it wasn't for that, I don't know. I mean, the work's the work. Work's fun sometimes. There's some fun projects. I mean, there's some bad ones too. It's just the people are great. The people that we meet along the way, the relationships that we've developed over the years. That's the coolest thing. Even outside of work, those relationships keep going. And that's one of the things I tell a lot of these clients. When we do a project with them, you almost get to know them better than your own family.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think they like to hear that, and I think that's the best part.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty
What's the
fun,
best part
too.
for you?
I would say, I mean, it'll be cheesy too. It's definitely the people coming to work and laughing. And I had conversations with like one of our PMs. He found out we were doing a podcast and he texted me, you guys, probably like 20 ideas of podcasts, but they were funny ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was dying. So we're gonna get him on the podcast at some point. But it's just fun to have these conversations with we're all in this together. We're all trying to do good work. We're all working in construction. It can be really tough sometimes. It is really hard. It's hard to be a
absolutely.
project manager.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a carpenter. You're always on. So you have to have an opportunity to laugh, make fun of yourself, talk about admit maybe some of the mistakes that you have made in this industry and make fun of yourself, and that's always fun.
Yeah, I think we do that really well here.
I think
we do it really well. We're always making fun of each other, poking jabs here and there. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And that lightens the mood, and that also brings energy right behind that to help us go get this next one.
Yep.
That's the cool part.
I think actually it's having those bonds, and then when you go to get the next one, when you have that opportunity to win a project and go in for an interview, and you just have that camaraderie and past experiences, and I think it really shows through to our clients or new potential clients. It's really fun.
No, for sure.
Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Will you come again?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much fun. Yeah.